It's Election Day in America. You have until 8 tonight to vote on the ballot, the presidency, a U.S. Senate seat, and 3 very controversial ballot questions. And this is what it's all about, the Electoral College map. The blank screen will quickly start filling up with red and blue after 8 o'clock tonight. The magic number for the presidency is 270. Good evening, I'm Dave Mattson. We'll check in with Shannon in a couple of minutes. We begin with what is expected to be a very close race for Senate in Massachusetts. The incumbent, Senator Scott Brown, is seeking his first 6-year term. He's challenged by Democrat Elizabeth Warren. ABC 40's Mike LaCrosse is live at Brown headquarters in Boston to bring you the very latest. Mike?
Dave, we're here at the Park Plaza where it's a little bit quiet in terms of spectators. The band is actually up on the stage practicing as we speak. Scott Brown's daughter, Ayla, was up there just about an hour ago practicing herself. Before that, the senator was in here doing some preparations. We actually had to leave. Take a look behind me and you can see media from all over New England, all across the country. There's even a television crew here from France. Obviously, this has national implications, and international media is interested in it as well. Now, folks won't be on the floor until 8 o'clock. That's when they'll open up the doors there. The senator he's here in the building. We had a chance to chat with the campaign spokesperson just a short while ago. Take a listen to what he had to say. They're upstairs relaxing, and everyone feels great. The turnout's been great. The excitement, the energy has been unmatched, even greater than 2010. So everyone feels really good, and here we go. And they did say that if anyone has not headed to the polls yet, they were encouraging them to do so. They don't close until 8 o'clock here tonight. That's the latest here. We're going to send it just a couple of blocks over to my colleague Ray Herschel, who's at the Warren headquarters. Ray?
Well, the anticipation is building here at the Fairmont Copley Hotel in Boston, where Elizabeth Warren will be making what her supporters hope is a victory speech a little later on tonight, 2 hours now before the polls close. Joining me live is Governor Patrick, who has campaigned tirelessly for Elizabeth Warren. Governor, what is your sense now? What are you sensing about this campaign? And do you feel that Elizabeth Warren will be victorious tonight?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I know that turnout has been high all across the Commonwealth, and that's a great thing, not just for Democrats, but for the democracy.
What have the Democrats done this time around that they couldn't do 2 years ago when Martha Coakley ran?
Well, it's a really brilliant grassroots organization, and that's a matter of both strategy and philosophy in Elizabeth Warren's case. Strategy because it's about reaching out to people and bringing in folks who are registered but haven't voted in a while, making sure that people are identified before Election Day, and the get out the vote strategy and effort has continued right through now. And philosophy, because it really is about demonstrating we mean for everyone to participate.
And did she get the message out? Is there anything she could have done differently?
I think she's run a fantastic campaign, and I think, they knocked on 250,000 doors just last weekend alone. It's been great.
Thank you very much, Governor. Governor Patrick, live here at Warren headquarters at the Fairmont Copley Plaza. I'm Ray Herschel.
Ray, thanks. Well, the race for that Senate seat is expected to be close. The White House, too. President Obama hoping for 4 more years. He did not vote today. Instead, he cast his ballot early in Illinois. Mr. Obama and the First Lady will watch the results come in from Chicago tonight. Republican Mitt Romney and his wife voted this morning in Belmont. The Romneys will be watching tonight's results from the Boston Convention and Exhibition Center. And that's where we find our Shannon Heggie. Join us live now from Boston and Romney headquarters. Shannon, good evening.
Good evening, Dave. You know, I talked about the energy earlier, and it's picked up. As you can see, people filing in behind me. The band is playing. Now, as we talked about earlier, Romney is not here yet. He cast his vote earlier today in his hometown of Belmont, headed to Ohio, headed to Pennsylvania, trying to get those last-minute votes, especially in those swing states. And those swing states, a lot of them, the polls close at 7:30 in Ohio, and those are what they're really waiting for to come in. Listen to what Romney told supporters in Ohio.
It's a big day for big change. We're about to change America to help people in ways they didn't imagine they could be helped, with good jobs and better take-home pay.
Now, I talked to a campaign staffer earlier trying to get an idea of when Romney might be showing up here. And he said the only way he's showing up is for a speech. Obviously, the campaign hoping for a victory speech. We'll have to see what happens. But like I said, the energy picking up, people filing in, the band playing, and that energy is going to keep picking up throughout the night, Dave, especially as we start seeing those numbers come in. Back to you.
Indeed, Shannon, thanks. That's expected to be the late night hours, too. Ray, Mike, and Shannon have us covered in Boston tonight. If you'd like to know what they're experiencing, just check out their Twitter posts. All you have to do is follow at WGGB Springfield. Well, exit poll numbers are very crucial this time of year, and some are being conducted locally by a group of students from UMass. ABC 40's Nathan O'Leary joins us now live in Springfield to tell us more about that. Nathan?
Well, Dave, these UMass Honors students, based on these questionnaires, have been tweeting throughout the day the information that they call, quote, early indicators of the voting results. Now, I just checked the Twitter account. They're really not showing a lot of numbers on that, just quick observations of their own of the polling places. A lot of them talking about very long lines throughout the whole entire state. We, of course, have been seeing a lot of that here. Now, these students are also using this questionnaire for their own research. After finishing voting inside the Greenleaf Community Center in Springfield, voters were asked at random to fill out this questionnaire. People seemed more than willing.
I just like the opportunity to do it. I hadn't done anything like this before.
We were told the response would be about 1 out of 3, but it's actually probably been more like 2 out of 3.
In conducting these polls, the students are looking for the obvious. Who did people vote for? And they're looking to know about the voter who made that choice, their age, race, sex, and gender. But they're also taking the chance to ask voters about other things like the economy, healthcare, and women's issues. The questions were developed by students like Claire Kiss and are tied into research projects.
I think it's really interesting to see not only just who they vote for, but why they vote that way. And I'm interested in social media myself, so we're trying to get a whole broader perspective of not just the election per se, but other influences that come to the election.
Other topics explored by the exit poll include campaign finance and the gender gap in the U.S. Senate race between Senator Scott Brown and Elizabeth Warren. If you'd like to follow the tweets of these UMass Honors students as they conduct their exit polls, you can go to their Twitter account at UMass Poll, spelled P-O-O-L, or poll, at UMass Poll. Dave?
Nathan, thanks. Now, in all, exit polls were done at 15 precincts in 9 communities. Not everything was smooth at the polls today. This morning, the Greenleaf Community Center in Springfield ran out of ballots for question 3. The problem was fixed in about 10 minutes. Now, folks who usually vote at Springfield's Hamden House were surprised today. That's because the center wasn't open, and some people weren't happy about what they say was the lack of communication. In fact, the only sign telling them where to go was on the Chapin house next door.
I was confused. Yeah, I live here in the area, and I know that Hamden House in the past has been where we vote, and it is now being torn down, and it's not Chapin Center that you come to vote. And I didn't get anything in the mail saying where I should vote.
Now, those affected today had to cast their ballots not too far away at the nearby Springfield Boys and Girls Club. And in Chicopee, none of the ballots this morning could be processed at the Litwin School. That's because they wouldn't fit in the machine. Precinct warden says the machine was replaced quickly and that all the ballots were processed correctly. The election day comes nearly 3 weeks after an East Longmeadow candidate for state representative was charged in connection with an absentee voter fraud scandal. The case against Jack Villameno prompted the state to have its own election monitors at the town's polls on the primary and election day today. The state reported no irregularities during the morning and early afternoon. East Longmeadow Town Clerk Tom Florence hopes the presence of the state monitors helps restore voter confidence.
That's one of the most important things that we wanted to do in the clerk's office. And I think in the few months past since some incidents happened, I think we've done that.
State election monitors were also present, as we mentioned, during the September primary. Now the state's 3 ballot questions. These are statewide votes. The first is the Right to Repair Act. A yes vote will require any car maker to provide you with the same diagnostic and repair information that they give in-state dealers and repair shops. That law would go into effect in 2015. Question 2 is the Death with Dignity Act. It would allow people who have 6 months or less to live because of a terminal illness to commit suicide with the help of a doctor. And finally, question 3 would legalize medical marijuana in the state. If it passes, those with extreme medical conditions that meet certain requirements would be able to legally buy marijuana.
Well, for the time being, the sky is nice and clear, but get ready. A bit of precipitation is heading in our direction. Yes, snow is anticipated. We'll have the full forecast in just a couple of minutes.
This portion of ABC 40 News in HD is brought to you by United Bank.
Those big bank fees can be a real drag. Getting a bit tired of it all?
People are fed up with the big banks. They charge you for everything.
That's not our way of doing business. And that's why we like to talk about our free for life checking. I mean, it truly is free for life.
That's what makes us different. That's what sets us apart from the big banks.
Free checking, great service. That's United Bank.
Tired of dragging that big bank around? Come to United Bank. We always give you more.
Let me tell you, things would be a lot better in this country if more people in Washington were willing to think for themselves and work with each other for the good of America.
He doesn't vote Democrat or Republican. He votes for what's right. I love it.
I just think he's an honest man.
My campaign, our campaign, will always be about we the people. I am nobody's senator except yours.
I'm Scott Brown, and I approve this message.
The Charter Triple Play just keeps getting better, with more of what you love for TV, internet, and phone with no contracts. You love HD. We added even more. Over 100 HD channels available. With Charter, On Demand has more of what you demand. More titles, more HD, even 3D. Call 855-35-T-Play to get TV for $29.99 a month. Our unbeatable DVR offer includes up to 4 DVRs for just $19.99. Pause and rewind live TV and record and watch in every room. Get more speed. Download, upload, stream. Charter lets you do it all at once. The nation's most powerful internet keeps up with all you do online. At 30 megabits per second, Charter internet is 10 times faster than the phone company's DSL. Internet just $29.99 a month. More talk for less money. Charter phone has unlimited long distance with 13 calling features including voicemail and no added fees like the phone company charges you. Phone just $29.99 a month. Better than ever. The Charter Triple Play, just $29.99 a month each when bundled. Call 855-35-T-Play now.
Now, your ABC 40 first warning forecast.
Well, this was one of those mornings that certainly started off on the chilly side. There's no doubt about that. I kind of sugarcoated here a little bit. For some folks, it was downright cold out there. We did set some record low temperatures in the Pioneer Valley this morning. Let's run down the gory details, so to speak, from this morning. And I got to tell you, this is not about just tying or kind of breaking a record. We went tumbling right through the old marks back in 1998. We were at 19 degrees. We dropped to 15 over at Westover. That's one of the colder pockets around the Pioneer Valley. But any way you slice it, it was cold out there this morning. And we saw the readings, again, start off in the teens today. We did manage, by the way, to just barely sneak up into the lower 40s today. And I think once we get by the near-term forecast, I think things will look a little bit warmer as we head toward the upcoming weekend. Right now, I mean, this is just after 6 o'clock at night, and we're already below the freezing mark across the northern half of the valley. Over at Westover, again, one of the colder pockets, down to 27 right now. Westfield's already down to 30 as the sky is clear, and there's really no wind at all. So the sky remained clear for a time this evening. It's probably after midnight, wee hours of the morning. We'll get a little veil of cloud cover showing up on the southern horizon, but it will be chilly again. Readings will probably drop back into the lower 20s tonight on average before this little area of cloud cover starts to sneak up in our direction and prevents it from really getting very, very cold by tomorrow morning. Now, with cold air kind of locked in place and the atmosphere kind of ready to for some snowfall, and we've got this area of low pressure now developing a very classic nor'easter coming off the Carolinas and moving up in our direction. So again, with enough cold air locked in place, kind of begs the question for some snowfall. But I think we stay quiet for the rest of the overnight into the first part of tomorrow. This is around 11:15 in the morning. It's still rather overcast, so I think the morning commute is just fine. It's later tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon as we start to get some precipitation lifting up from the south coast and then bumping into the cold air. So we'll have a mixed bag of some wet snowfall, but even during tomorrow evening, the temperatures will likely be borderline lower to middle 30s. So on main roadways, 91, the Pike, places like that, even like Route 20, I think it'll be melting on contact. It's mainly the grassy surfaces, parked cars, things like that. I may get perhaps, excuse me, a little bit of snowfall piling up a little bit. And then by the time Thursday morning gets here, it'll be flopping over to a mixed bag of some shower activity through Thursday. The winds will start to pick up from the east-northeast, and that atmosphere will kind of moderate at low levels of the atmosphere, keeping us probably in the low to mid 40s. And it looks like by the time that rolls around and things will start to move out to sea and conditions will begin to improve somewhat for Friday. So it's kind of a short-lived event. But any way you look at it, I think the higher terrain has the best chance of picking up some snowfall in terms of accumulation, maybe an inch or two out toward Worcester County. If we get much here, it'll be mainly on the grass, probably less than an inch. If it does pile up in some areas, best chance will be up toward Franklin County and Hampshire County. So as we check the 7-day forecast, any snow we do get, by the way, through tomorrow night into the first part of Thursday will start to melt away as we head toward this weekend. In fact, when some sunshine returns on Friday, we'll bounce back in the mid-40s. We'll be into the 50s this weekend, and there's a chance on Monday and Tuesday we may perhaps see temperatures get into the lower 60s with a couple of showers arriving on Tuesday. Shouldn't be a big event, but of course the first one of the year is always kind of a surprise for some people. But it's, again, later tomorrow night, and early on Thursday, we may have perhaps a little slippery travel in some of the higher terrain.
Not too bad. Actually, Mike Leslie and I were talking about this. He said, is this blue tie any significance about where my political line?
Oh, no.
But it's not. I mean, it's a blue tie. But see, I should have worn burgundy like that.
If it matches, that's all I really care.
It's right in the middle. I like the color. That's why I got it.
Yeah, there you go.
I left the price on it so I can bring it back. So, anyhow,
I think you should.
Sorry. Well, maybe I will. On to other news now. Part of Western Avenue in Westfield is shut down following an accident today around 2. All police are telling us that as a bicyclist was hit by a car. Western is closed from Kensington Avenue to Westwood Drive. The condition of the bicyclist isn't known at this time. Late word, though, that the road has been reopened. The road has been reopened. Well, state regulators have ordered all employees from the Framingham company linked to a meningitis outbreak to immediately stop working in the drug compounding industry. An investigation has determined the New England Compounding Center employees may present an immediate or serious threat to public health. Over 400 people have been linked to the meningitis outbreak. 30 have died. An Alabama lawyer who represented ex-professor Amy Bishop says he and her other attorneys are stepping aside now that Bishop intends to appeal her guilty plea in the killings of 3 colleagues. Bishop is serving a life term. Charges in the fatal shooting death of her brother in Braintree in 1986 were withdrawn back in September. A Marshfield firefighter was hurt this morning following a fire in Scituate. Lieutenant Joseph Klinowski suffered burns to his back. He was fighting a fire that spread to 2 other homes. No one else was hurt in that fire.
Dave, I'm sorry I made you feel self-conscious about your tie. I think it's quite nice. Don't listen to Ed. You shouldn't bring it back. Coming up in sports, they're all bundled up in high school soccer, but still playing. We'll have some playoff action for you coming up.
EC40 Weather is brought to you by Belize and BelizeAuto.com.
When you find it's time to buy or lease, and you want a deal that's just beyond belief, get with the folks who always aim to please. You'll do better, so much better at Belize.
Nobody sells more cars and trucks than Belize, and nobody beats our prices.
Get with the folks who always aim to please. You'll do better, so much better at Belize. You'll do better at Belize.
My daughter asked me why my teeth look funny.
My wife didn't want to kiss me.
I could barely chew my food.
You know how that feels?
I had to do something.
I called Aspen Dental. They treated my problem.
They treated me like a human being.
Right now, get payments as low as $25 per month. And new patients get a free exam and x-rays. That's a savings of $215. Call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
I didn't just get my smile back.
I got my life back.
Is your home in need of a full kitchen or bath renovation? Make Kitchen Encounters first and last on your list. Kitchen Encounters has a 5,000 square foot showroom where you can see and touch kitchen and bath cabinetry by KraftMaid. Bring your pictures and ideas, and our designers do the rest. Kitchen Encounters, with trusted contractors working with our designers for an end product that is extraordinary. Visit Kitchen Encounters in Wilbraham for a brand new KraftMaid kitchen or bath and all of your remodeling needs.
Let me tell you, things would be a lot better in this country if more people in Washington were willing to think for themselves and work with each other for the good of America.
He doesn't vote Democrat or Republican. He votes for what's right. I love it.
I just think he's an honest man.
My campaign, our campaign, will always be about we, the people. I am nobody's senator except yours.
I'm Scott Brown, and I approve this message.
Well, high school playoffs continuing right along. Field hockey, soccer, as well as girls volleyball, all careening towards Saturday's Western Mass Championship day. Let's get right to the highlights. Minnechaug and Pittsfield squaring off in girls volleyball tonight. The number 1 seed Falcons, after they beat the 5-time defending champion Long Meadow Lancers earlier this season. This is Paulina Modesto with the kill from the back line. Then more of the same. Modesto this time on the front line, able to get the kill to drop down. Minnechaug jumping out to an early advantage on the 8th seed Pittsfield Generals. Later, big block from Alex Weiss and Fallon Murphy to continue Minnechaug's dominance. They go on to sweep this one at 3-zip. Michelle Williams, you'll see in just a moment here, with a very nice dig, and that's going to lead to yet another kill for Modesto. Minnechaug looking awfully sharp here early on in the playoffs. They move on to the semis. Moving on to girls soccer now. A little bit cold over at Munson High School, but the Mustangs able to take a 2-zip early lead, and then here off the feed from Megan McGill, Brooke Murphy scores to give Munson a 3-0 lead. Into the second half now. Still 3-zip, Munson on top, and if one wasn't enough, here's Murphy again, fending off the defender, getting her feet clear and fires it into the back of the net. 4-zip, Munson on top at that point. They go on to win 6-0 over Cathedral. They too advance to the semifinals. Meanwhile, today, a glimmer of hope for hockey fans as we hit now the 52nd day of the lockout here in the NHL. But today, the executive director of the NHL Players Association, Donald Fehr, had this to say.
Negotiations are expected to resume this afternoon, probably in a couple of hours. Obviously, the players' view has always been that we ought to keep negotiating until we find a way to get an agreement. And you sort of stay at it day by day, so it's very good to be getting back to the table. And we hope that this time it produces more progress than we have seen in the past, and we can figure out a way to make an agreement and to get the game back on the ice as soon as possible.
Whether or not that actually happens, obviously still left to be seen. There's a lot that the NHL and the Players Association need to figure out first, but at least they're trying again. That's good news if you're a hockey fan. A couple of notes to wrap things up. Now that David Ortiz is done with his deal, the Red Sox have turned their efforts to Cody Ross. Ross reportedly wants a 3-year deal, while the Red Sox are hesitant to offer such a contract. Aaron Hernandez is celebrating the birth of his first child. Congratulations to him. Kyle Arrington returned to practice today for the Patriots after battling a head injury. And according to a Sporting News poll, Rex Ryan is the most overrated coach in the NFL. That's according to a poll of 103 players. Second on the list, interestingly, Bill Belichick. What that means about the Patriots, well, quite frankly, absolutely nothing. We'll see how Bill and the Patriots do in the second half of the season as they get back to work this Sunday against the Bills. And that's all for sports. Dave, back to you.
All right, Mike, thanks. I agree with that Ryan thing. Still ahead, some curious canines try and pick tonight's presidential winner.
When I was young, I thought I was invincible. Like, all I needed to protect me was a cape. That might work when you're 8.
But when you get to be 68 like me, you need a smarter plan. That's what I get with Fallon Community Health Plan. Everything from Silver Sneakers Fitness, free physicals, even emergency coverage for when I travel.
I'm flying to Europe next week.
Fallon Community Health Plan. More new thinking, more you.
Continuous election coverage tonight on your ABC 40.
Hi, I'm Matt Murphy, and I want your home and family to be safe.
Is your home environment safe? Call on Western Mass Environmental for asbestos removal, oil spills, leaking tanks, and other hazardous materials. Western Mass Environmental.
Environmental safety is our service.
Does your house need tending? Is it all in disarray? Do you have folks coming for the holiday? Do you need a dining room? Do you need it right away? Bob's got the lowest prices every day. It's a real marble table in dark or light. Only $7.99 with the chairs to do it right. Even comes in granite and to help you celebrate. The wine rack server for $11.98. No phony gimmicks, come any day. No phony sales, cause that's Bob's way. Pure value, choice, and quality. Apply for financing, that's gimmick free.
Let me tell you, things would be a lot better in this country if more people in Washington were willing to think for themselves and work with each other for the good of America.
He doesn't vote Democrat or Republican. He votes for what's right. I love it.
I just think he's an honest man.
My campaign, our campaign, will always be about
We the people.
I am nobody's senator except yours.
I'm Scott Brown, and I approve this message.
Hi, I'm Matt Murphy, owner of Western Mass Environmental.
How is your environmental safety? Call on Western Mass Environmental for commercial asbestos removal, oil spills, leaking tanks, and other hazardous materials. Western Mass Environmental.
Environmental safety is our service.
Well, cookies are always good for a snack, so why not use the tasty treat to conduct a presidential poll? And that's exactly what they did today at Springfield's Gus and Paul Bakery. Now, if you're going to get cookies, that's the best. Folks came in and could either buy a Romney cookie or an Obama cookie.
This election season has been so compelling and people are so passionate about the different candidates. I thought it'd be interesting to do a cookie poll.
Gordy tells us the Obama cookie is squeaking out the Romney cookie. Tomorrow, the bakery will make a big batch of cookies of whoever wins the presidential election. Now, you can't vote if you're under 18, but if you aren't human, you apparently can. ABC 40's Stephanie Officer shows us how dogs might have already decided this election's outcome.
It's the choice we're all faced with, President Obama or Mitt Romney. And you've watched the ads, heard the pundits, and probably unfriended a few folks on Facebook during this election process. In such a tight race, there can only be one decider.
We had a lot of owners who said you better vote the right way before they left here. So
who are you voting for? Canines at the Good Dog Spot in Chicopee made their choice for president at the 2012 Election Day party, not by doing research, but by picking a cookie.
When we were first starting, we had a lot of fun with it. We had a local company in Holyoke that made the cookies, so we were able to do something fun and just give the dogs a little more interaction.
The dogs have a choice of selecting the Democratic donkey or the Republican elephant. They accurately picked President Obama to win the 2008 election. And dogs like Buster here voted Democratic today, but at the Good Dog Spot, Elizabeth says that human politics are for the birds.
It's too heated a conversation for me today. We like to keep it simple. That's why we have fun with the dogs.
It was close, but in the end, the dogs picked Romney. In Chicopee, I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC 40.
Unofficial poll. That's cute. Very nice. Still plenty of time to go out and vote. The weather's fine. Just cool.
Next couple of hours. It got a little colder out there, Dave. Now the sun goes down early this time of the year, but I think the readings tomorrow will probably struggle to get past 40, which we did today. So it's going to be kind of a breezy and very raw day tomorrow. If we get some precipitation tomorrow afternoon, probably starting us some wet snow, but with the readings in the upper 30s, it'll probably melt by the time it hits the main roadways, the pavement, things like that. Grassy surfaces will start to stack up first tomorrow night, and then it flops over to some rainfall as we push 40 on Thursday. And as we head toward the weekend, looks like things will start to turn milder. So any accumulating snow we get, which could be an inch or two, by the way, in some of the higher terrain, less than an inch locally, will start to melt away as we push close to, again, the mild side Sunday and Monday of next week.
All right. Thanks, sir. Well, our election coverage has already begun. ABC's begins in just a couple of minutes with world news. We'll check in with you during the evening with the results and reaction from local races and, of course, extended coverage on ABC 40 first on Fox at 10 and ABC 40's 11:11. Of course, you can always go online at WGGB.com. For all of us, thanks for watching. Have a good night.
ABC 40 hairstyles courtesy of Ochoa Salon and Spa of East Longmeadow and South Hadley.
I finally have the kitchen of